All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the IMHO podcast. My name is Lou Angelwolf. Sitting right next to me, my co-host, Michael Murburg. How are you, brother?
Hello, it's good to be here.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you. Welcome aboard, buddy. It's the 7th day of August, 2019. This is the imho.love show. It's in my humble opinion.love, and we do try to keep our opinions humble but plentiful. And that's pretty much something that we're discovering daily as we watch that blinking light in our living room. The show is broadcast here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. That's tantalk1340.com. We're on Facebook Live right now, but if something happens there, you can switch over to YouTube. You go to tantalk1340.com, and they live stream the show on YouTube. And then, of course, Kathy, our producer, she later on puts the show on imho.love website, but it's a few hours away or sometimes the next day. But we do keep all this stuff logged. You can also catch it on Podomatic if you'd like that kind of stuff. And we have a permanent archive at BitChute. That's BITCHUTE, BitChute. It's a different type of format that nothing gets policed or any kind of content you want over there on BitChute.
Hey, what kind of FM stations we on?
FM, we're on the 102.3. We're on 104.3, and then 106.1. That's here in the Tampa Bay area on all your FM broadcasts. And it's out there if you want to listen to imho.love. Oh, and also, too, our friend Mike Peter at IRN, the Internet Radio Network, is picking the shows back up and broadcasting them randomly throughout his week.
Wonderful.
And we have been here almost a year, Michael.
Is the rent up yet?
Good thing we're both responsible guys. We pay our rent on time. But, yeah, we've been here a year. I'll have to look up. Kathy, you probably could look up the exact date, and we could tell you. Thanks, everybody. Audio needs to be a little bit louder. You have any control over that, Vaughn? Yeah, you can turn it up a little. Okay, kick it in the ass or something. That's what I'm getting. It could be somebody else's speakers, too. Mahone says, oh, okay, we got some audio complaints all the way through, so I can't hear. So whatever's going on
radio could be Facebook, or is it radio?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Facebook. Yeah, this is Facebook. So like I said, if you're having difficulty hearing it, you can switch over to YouTube, and that's where we do the live stream on YouTube. That's Tan Talk 1340 on YouTube. I guess we got it turned up. Well, welcome everybody, and it's good to see everybody. Paul Mahone, he's a funny dude. Ward Smith, had dinner with him the other night. Everything's great. Spike, my sister Nancy. Wow, Stanley Ullman. Hey, buddy. Pamela's here. Mark Coddington, Steve Cooper, Eddie Yarb, one of our favorite guests. And okay, I'm trying to volume up. It must be the Facebook. So, like I said, you can listen to it alternatively on YouTube, and I'll try to talk as loud as I can. How about that? I don't know if that makes any difference. I think that's just in my headset. But anyway, folks, it's been a hell of a week, and we're going to leave the phone lines open tonight. If you want to call in, if you have some comments, we're going to cover a couple different topics tonight. The local number here is 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. And of course, if you're one of those people that likes toll-free numbers, 866-826-1340. 866-826-1340.
For those of you with Obama phones.
You with the Obama phone with the 866 numbers. What are we doing there, Vaughn? Do we have good connections? Everything seems all right? Okay. Well, hey, that's life, you know.
That's our Autovon.
That's our Autovon. That's funny. He just got new wheels on his Hemi Charger. Did you see his new wheels?
Yeah, that's a black badass car.
He's got it all murdered out, bro. And looking good. He's all shiny. And of course, the wheels and tires were supplied by Tim's Performance Service Center at 906 Verona Place.
Where you
up in
too
Tarpon.
can get a 10% Lou Angelwolf discount.
Yeah, tell them you know me. But anyway, folks, so welcome aboard. The one thing that the show, we advertised it as, and we've been away from it for a few weeks because Michael and I have been covering the Federal Reserve System, and my little takeaway thing is the banking, the entire history of banking. It was originated by pirates. That's my favorite lesson out of all this. Pirates started this thing,
and all they've done is multiply and get richer.
That's it. Just the most brilliant pirates. It's a shame. No, it's not a shame. I'm happy I was raised by an honest man. But I tell you what, there sure are ways to make money that I never even imagined. But you know what? I go to sleep with a clear conscience every night.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I didn't hurt nobody. And but the show basically. It's about humor, of course, because Michael and I both are, funny guys. I've been a stand-up comic for 36 years now. Michael
is a humorist.
Dabbles in the craft.
He's a humorist. He writes a good joke, but the problem is you need an IQ of 130 or above to laugh. So I learned that early on.
He kills them in the Princeton Library. Anyway, where you're not supposed to laugh out loud. But anyway, the show is about humor and then aha moments, and that's a lot of people are always the term conspiracy theory has been coming up a lot lately. People are getting mugged with the conspiracy theorist thing, and now they're saying that the conspiracy theorist term is now that if you do enough of that, they're going to call you a domestic terrorist. If you disagree with the mainstream line. They may, and if you have some alternative viewpoints, you may be labeled a domestic terrorist just because you don't believe the middle of the road.
Yeah, they're adopting the Chinese format for doing this by punishing you. Eventually, you'll be punished on Facebook by giving a happy face for something somebody says that's
right.
Not consistent with the military-industrial security complex. It's really sad because every time they put conspiracy on it, it's like, yeah, you guys got together to screw us, and that's a fact. So it's not a theory. This is conspiracy factualism.
Yes, it is.
So and by calling it something that's disparaging is just muddying the water and and killing the messenger instead of listening to the message.
Right, and the term conspiracy theorist was brewed up by the FBI and back in the 60s.
Actually, it was the CIA.
CIA
term, yeah.
CIA, and it was to put like a stink face on anybody that would. You come up with a piece of alternative information, and then they go, oh, well, that's just conspiracy theory, as to taint it or make it non-credible.
Yeah, and George Bush did the same thing after 9/11. Says, and don't listen to any of them conspiracy theorists about.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we don't want you to follow our tracks to the hen house while we're robbing the eggs and eating your chickens.
Right. So don't listen to those guys. They don't know nothing.
No. Just keep on forking the money over.
And but you know what? Successfully, they've continued their programming. They've got people just barking on both sides of the fence now with every type of confrontational topic, from gun control and these mass shootings and vaccinations, and I mean they just parade a new piece of drama in front of us every day, every week. And they're interchangeable.
Started making me world weary at this age,
Yeah, I'm with you, brother.
Same stuff, different day.
Boy, I hate to say the same thing. Thank you for the volume being fixed. All right, very good. This is kind of a little offbeat joke, but I can tell you, and I suffer from this a little bit. Football season is right around the corner. It's like,
how about them Bucks, man?
It's about like the best diversion, and I know the fix is in. I know they're just trying to get us to buy beer and pickup trucks. I understand that these are the guys that sell beer and pickup trucks. They all wear matching uniforms.
Yeah, and watch zone defenses.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my God, how much more boring can you get than zone defense? The guys move a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, I know. Well, Michael knows a fair amount about football. You played in college, didn't you?
I played in college.
For Princeton?
Yeah, believe it or not,
A Princeton football player.
Yeah, I know. I gave up scholarships at Notre Dame and at Clemson to take an academic scholarship at Princeton. So fault me that.
I'll fault you that. Yeah, good thing you protected that noggin of yours.
Yeah, I know. I managed to save a couple IQ points by knocking heads with lesser men.
You got to choose your concussions in life. Mine all happened randomly, but
I've got friends that are suffering from post-concussive syndrome.
Oh, absolutely, dude! You can't ram your look. Back then in the day, you're what, 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'5", but my playing weight was like 278.
And dude, I mean, what a inertia of thrust for you to like bury your helmet into another guy's helmet, because back then helmet on helmet contact was legal.
Yep.
And you have a massive neck and big shoulders, and you could spear somebody and cause permanent nerve damage
to yourself too.
To yourself, exactly.
Like not only the guy you hit.
The good thing about it is the giver is usually more braced for it, and he'll survive it a little better than the recipient. But all that stuff is just ridiculous. And here we are in the first week of August. And are going into the second week of August, and football is brewing. They're starting to show. What do you mean my thing is? Oh, how did my thing go off? How did my Facebook go off? Oh,
the CIA. Balls. They realized that we're conspiritually factualists. Conspiritually, that's a new word.
Conspiritually,
I'm a conspiritual factualist.
It's a good. I think it was Cat Carroll. Or it might have been, I think it was Cat Carroll that said that we are conspiracy analysts.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's even better. So, okay, we're going to try to go live again. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook just had a little hiccup. And I don't know. Hey, welcome back, Facebook. Sorry we dropped you or whatever happened there. I don't know. Lightning struck or maybe we hit a nerve when we were talking about what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's the military-industrial complex. They're already trying to shut us down.
Yeah, they are.
Well, after we got into the Fed and fractional reserve banking and the history of that all for a number of shows, and I think the reason that we did it was to show not only that there's a greedy evil in the world, but there is another side to human-initiated contact. Yes. And just like any good psychologist would get us to do is recognize that there's a dark side of every human being,
right.
dark side of humanity, but it's our choice to evolve out of the dark side and come into the light and embrace the reality that we all know is true,
right.
And walk away from this dichotomous and divisive reality that these third-dimensional kind of materialists have created for us.
You're exactly right, and that's what the show is. That's kind of the backbone of the show is the HICE, which is the human-initiated contact experience. There's a couple other things you can make the CE for, but the human-initiated contact experience, and that's what happens out at Darby Ranch. There's a nice group of people. I think we're up into the 120s of
no, we're knocking on 150.
150.
Knocking on 150.
People are catching the show.
Despite the rain and the swarms of mosquitoes and August being absolutely the worst month. You missed a good month.
Yeah.
But we had 30 out there.
Wow. Very nice.
And what we did learned a couple of things.
Okay. What did we learn?
First thing I learned is not to take on so many new people so they don't know the drill.
Right.
Okay. Because it's like herding cats.
Right.
The most important thing that I see is a convocation together, whether it's inside the house or out in the field. But you do the convocation to set the mood.
Right.
And you do the invocation to instruct and focus your concentration and lift it up and make your contact.
Yep.
So we missed the indoor invocation. So a convocation, because there's so many newbies. And
right.
It's kind of funny because I'm in the house and I've got the core group with me, and they're like, well, there are only like 7 of us here, so everybody else is waiting outside. Do you want us to get them to come in? Because they had they'd either forgotten or just didn't read the manual.
That happens.
Oh, it happened. So we went outside and did it, and did it briefly, and then we did the invocation. We had some pretty immediate contact, though.
Oh, really? Beautiful.
There was UAP happening within 5 or 6 minutes of the, and within the first half an hour or so of the invocation. And then the mosquitoes got so bad.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I mean,
I remember last year.
Yeah, last year couldn't even hold a candle to the way they were the other night. Yeah, there were just so many of them. I had, I mean, they were biting through clothing and disregarding.
Vicious.
Oh, it was horrible. So we ended up at about 11:30. Everybody went in. But I realized that the meditative aspect of this is so important, and the mosquitoes screw that up so badly.
Yeah,
it's like,
I've had them in my eyes, down my throat, in my ear. It's rugged out there.
It was horrible. I mean, you can survive the rain, but the mosquitoes are a whole other story. So
sure,
maybe next year I'll skip July and August and then come back in September.
Come back strong.
Yeah.
Well, and what we're talking about, folks, if you're just listening for the first time, the human initiated contact experience is something that Michael does, and there's groups all over the world that do this. We meet with the hope of having some sort of contact, either visual or mental, or however far they want to take it, with our extraterrestrial friends that they're entirely present on this earth, and we greet them with love and innocence. What happens? A group of us get together, anywhere from 10 to apparently 30 of us these days, once a month when the moon is gone, and we meet and we break bread together, and it's such a beautiful group of people. The people are very, very mellow and
very spiritually inclined, completely spiritually inclined. And it is a spiritual exercise. This is not a let's go out and try to attract UFOs. This is let's go out and have a meditation with some wonderful people, share the love, share the fellowship and the good vibrations, and let's lift it up and offer it and invite ET to join with us. And they do. They come. They show up in many, many different shapes and forms and crafts. And it's, we've had in the last 2.5 years, hundreds and hundreds of points of contact, visual points of contact.
That's beautiful. I can tell you, I personally have seen several things. A lot of times energy orbs show up. Those are very popular. And we'll see things in the sky and we'll communicate with them in our rudimentary way. But the thing that is the most beautiful about it, I believe it was last December, and it was kind of cool outside. I was laying out there on that reclining observation chair, we'll just call it, and I was we'd had a beautiful meditation and prayer inside, and then we all came out, and there was a beautiful group about that night. It was almost 20 of us, I think, and just the energy of everybody that was there was just so harmonious that night. I literally felt one with the earth. And that, I believe, is our goal as humans, is to come back to this overall oneness. David Icke is campaigning a thing about stop being I'm a this, that you have the one thing that defines you. I'm a Catholic. I'm Italian. I'm whatever. I'm an atheist. I'm whatever. Don't let one thing define you, because you are part of the most grand adventure available in many, many universes. This has got to be, the high water mark, or, rural Alabama, as far as the world goes, as the universes go. And what we get, and this is just my personal take on it, but I think this is how it goes. We come here to the earth. We're summoned down either by the spark of our breeding parents, and then we come to the earth in this beautiful, loving form of innocence. We are completely untainted. We came from all light, or all, the indigo truce. That's where we came from. This beautiful thing, the indigo truce. You'll hear more about that later. But what I see, and then the world starts to flow in on you. People start telling you things. You start learning a language. You start learning your communication skills. And somewhere along the line, people start telling you big picture stuff, and you believe some of it, and some of it you disregard. But you go on and on and on. And then you wind up with this convoluted mixture of who says what and who believes what and what's true and what's not. And and then there's manipulations and condemnations, and then you get to a point where you say, okay, I'm tired of trying to figure all this out, and you surrender yourself to the universe. You say, okay, I need divine energy, I need divine interaction here. So you go into a like a rebirth or a complete cleansing, and then you come back out trying to restore the innocence that you had when you first arrived. And then you start building another repertoire, and you weed out a lot of the things that you had priorly learned and didn't believe. So now you're up on most of your good information. But as Michael will tell you, and I will affirm, the more you study, the more you realize that almost every piece of history has some slanted, stupid angle or agenda behind it. And I got to tell you, man, it sounds so simple, but love is the answer, and complete forgiveness. And you try to understand your oneness, and past that, that's icing on the cake.
Well, the use of love is pretty broad, and I like to use the word compassion. There's different kinds of love. Charity is a form of love, but compassion for all beings, of the universe, is the most important part of this. Now, I actually bought David Icke's book, Everything You Need to Know, and within the first 3 pages, he quotes Lao Tzu.
Okay.
And say essentially the quote is. I'll butcher it a little bit, but it gets the idea across. Care what others think of you, and you give them unwarranted power over your life. So do what you
say that again slower.
Care what others think about you, and give them unwarranted power over your life.
If you care what others think about you,
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, so right off the bat, he's quoting my famous or favorite worldly philosopher Lao Tzu, and in reinterpreting what you just said, Lao Tzu also teaches you begin the path of understanding and knowledge by unknowing everything that you have learned and beginning with knowing nothing.
And you know what? I believe at the end, that's what you wind up with again.
The emptiness. Well, that's the analogy of the empty cup. Is that an empty cup is of use to the holder and to everyone else, but the full cup is not.
Right. That's true.
So you maintain your integrity in this world as a universal being by being the empty cup.
All those symbolisms and all that stuff is, what a great lesson we can learn. If you just, you really just got to stop and pay attention. And and the thing that Michael and I talk about, even though we're actually part of this vicious machine, is the media that comes at you every time, everywhere you turn around. You're standing at the gas pumps, boom, there's some media. You're driving down the road, boom, on your radio, there's some media. And all the billboards and people's T-shirts and everything's just coming at you with this message. And I got to tell you, man, it really fractionates your brain. And I know a lot of people are suffering from depression, myself even a little too, even though I think I have somewhat of a grip on my life, but I still get, my vibrations get low. I think it is I get battered because I think about it so much. But what you have to realize is that even though you're confused and you don't know what you think you should know, that's perfect. Because most of the stuff that you're currently learning and holding, as you study, you will find that it too can be disproved, and it has a complete another dimension.
Well, once again, that's where the human initiated contact experience comes in, because you end up working on yourself, your spiritual self. And after I suggest, getting into that mode a week before, you go out and meet with your friends in the field. And our group is extremely lucky because we have lifelong contactees and experiencers in the group, and they are truly antenna who, if your game is down, they bring it in. If their game is down, you bring it in.
Right.
But it's the spiritual introspection and working on yourself that gets you out there. And when you're out in the field, you've got hours of meditation, and you continue to meditate on forgiveness, on gratitude, on the people, places, and things you love, and the things that you're passionate about, and your compassion, and you lift it up and make contact. And when you make contact, you realize that everything that you have been exposed to is total BS, and this is the reality that you want. And that everything that's associated with this human initiated contact experience has absolutely nothing to do with this planet that's trying to influence you, and all the different forces that try to push you one way or the other. And it's like in the Old Testament, I look into the mountain to find my strength. I look into the sky in order to find my strength.
That's perfect. We're having audio problems again. It just drives me berserk. And exactly what you're talking about is, as far as you study this, you have to remember, okay, and this is where I get the Indigo Truce. That's the next thing I'm going to write about. That'll be like the Pacifist Riot, the sequel or whatever. In the scriptures, it says, we look through a dark glass dimly. And that's where I see, and I'm a little allergic to light. Everybody's always talking about light. I got to have this light. Everything's going to go to the light. You're going to go, I don't necessarily trust the light. The light is very much an imposter for a lot of things. In fact, the name Lucifer, who is the ultimate, personal egotist, the name itself means the light bringer. Okay. So, but as we look through the spectrum of information, we find that there is a stillness and an understanding closer to the dark in the indigo, where you're there when you're in the indigo.
Right off the bat, in the first chapter of the Tao, or one of the first chapters of the Tao, it tells us that you find yourself in the darkness of the dark, and the darkest of the dark. And even Joseph Campbell tells us that, that's where your journey begins, as you find the darkest place to enter into the darkest place you can imagine, and that's where your journey begins. That's your journey, and going into the light, in the raw material. Light is synonymous with understanding. So when Ra reminds us, and he continually says, in the light of understanding of our infinite Creator. So Ra further defines light as more than just a brightness. It's a light of understanding, and it's the understanding that is given to us by our infinite Creator.
Well, that's and that's beautiful. And what I'm also telling you is, folks, if you're feeling confused and you don't understand what's going on in the world, don't be alarmed. Don't be ashamed. Don't think you're dumb. You're not. But the mind control that comes at us every day is starting to wear some people out. And that's why you have the situations like you have. That's why you're represented by the politicians that are representing us. All these things that
and lining their own pockets with our money.
Exactly. And always follow the money. How much time we got left there, Vaughnie? 1 minute? What we're inside the minute? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the imho.love show. We got to take about a 6-minute break. I'll try to work on this Facebook audio. It's out again. We'll give this a whirl. I apologize for any technical difficulties. If you go to tantalk1340.com on YouTube, we have a good live stream there. We're going to watch, we're going to listen to some ads and the regular news, and we'll be back in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, let's listen to the military-industrial complex for the next 30.
Next 6 minutes.
Yeah.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Two stops made today by President Trump meeting with those affected by mass shootings in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio.
As the presidential motorcade pulled into University Medical Center in El Paso, some stood in salute. Others became angry, like this man who says the president is responsible for hateful rhetoric spreading around the country.
His message is just tearing everybody down.
Some blame what they call anti-Hispanic rhetoric from the president on the shooting, but this Trump supporter appalled by that notion.
It honestly just upsets me because people aren't placing the blame on the shooter. It's really his fault. He pulled the trigger, not Donald Trump.
The president was greeted by doctors and victims of Saturday's shooting. Clayton Neville, El Paso.
Correspondent Jason Carroll says earlier today, Trump paid a similar visit to Dayton, Ohio, where he also met with Mayor Nan Whaley.
Mayor Whaley, very frustrated, very disappointed overall about that meeting with the president. She really feels as though was hoping that the president would at least commit to something when it comes to gun safety. She said she came out of that meeting with nothing.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott said racism needs to be confronted and a crackdown initiated on internet sites used by violent extremists. More on the suspect in the El Paso attack from correspondent Brian Todd.
He's being held in a single 7 by 11-foot cell, away from other inmates. Law enforcement veterans tell us his possible interaction with other inmates is a major concern.
The new Pentagon Inspector General report finds the Islamic State is rebuilding its forces and renewing its insurgency in Iraq and Syria. The report says it's due at least in part to the Trump administration's swift withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region. The report goes on to say the Islamic State continues to overwhelm U.S. partner forces in the region, the militias known as the Syrian Democratic Forces, as well as Iraq's military, which the report states have suffered from decreased U.S. support in recent months. Barbara Cusack.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity product that you hear about right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network, for personal service, you can pick up the phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's to your health and longevity.
Tom O'Brien is on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Every Monday through Friday from 4 till 5 p.m., Tom takes to the airwaves as he breaks down the day's market action. Tom combines his technical knowledge of the markets with his years of trading experience to take your calls and questions every market day from 4 to 5 p.m. Whether you're new to trading or an active day trader, don't miss out on the Tom O'Brien Show live on the Tan Talk Radio Network from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
There's only one place on the radio where golfers like you can turn for the best tips, interviews, product reviews, local tournaments, and everything golf talk. The Golf Show, guys.
Hey, join the Golf Show, guys, every Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's not just funny, it's informative, it's celebrities, and it's a lot of applause. It's the Golf Show, guys, Wednesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello there, Tampa Bay. This is former NFL and college football coach Jimmy Johnson. Listen to the Kelly Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can sure use the attention.
And this is former Major League Baseball player, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. I also hope you listen to the Kelly Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can darn sure use the money.
Hi there. This is marine wildlife artist and conservationist Dr. Guy Harvey. Please listen to the Kelly Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They need to feel worthy.
Hello out there. Tune in every Saturday at noon on Tan Talk or Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. Every Saturday at noon, we will find resources, education, and a shoulder for the caregivers. I know it's tough, but we can work it out together. Look forward to you tuning in on Saturdays at noon, where you'll have tons of information. Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregiver.
Hey everybody, it's Bad Craig, host of Blazing Cigars, sponsored by Island Lifestyle and Tobacco Depot. Blazing Cigars is Tampa Bay's only true cigar lifestyle radio show. We feature the latest in cigar industry news, current trends, and cigar tips. Also, interviews with different cigar manufacturers from around the country. And of course, I'm always looking for my next ex-wife. So join us every Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon. That's Blazing Cigars right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Again, Blazing Cigars right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Something's up.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the imho.love show. Lou Angelwolf, Michael Murburg, bringing it to you every Wednesday night, 7:30 here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. The show's being recorded on YouTube Live. If you go to Tan Talk 1340, you go to YouTube Live. We're having audio difficulty with the Facebook feed today. Hey, Leroy, thanks for coming along. And
Sorry, we broke that. You know, around here, there's this great antique radio collection. I finally figured out why they have it here.
Why is that?
So they can replace some of the vacuum tubes that they're still using in the AM station.
Well, you know, sometimes they have a ferret that runs on a wheel, and they don't change the ferrets out fast enough.
Yeah, it's a cloudy day, so you can't get them to run like that.
It's a gloomy day in Ferretville. So anyway, folks, this is the Tan Talk Radio Network. Thanks for everybody who's hanging in. Here's another way. Still got audio problems, man. But anyway, folks, go to Kathy, if you can put that up. The Tan Talk on the YouTube channel, whatever. And those of you, of course, listening on terrestrial radio, you're not having any difficulty whatsoever. But the YouTube they could be sabotaging us too. You know, they may not want everybody to hear what we got to say.
We usually don't engage in paranoid.
Yes, paranoid, schizophrenic,
conspiratorial.
But folks, for those of you, I will repost this show later. And so you can catch up on it or whatever's going on. Thanks for everybody that is hanging with us and listening. Sorry, Johnny, if you can't hear us. But anyway, folks, Michael and I, and you know, the last week or so, we had some horrible random shootings, so they say, out in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. People just being randomly slaughtered.
Yeah, but this time a Democratic Socialist horned in on the action.
What's I didn't follow it very closely.
Yeah, I forget which one. I think it's the Ohio guy.
He's a Democratic Socialist.
Yes,
like a Bernie Sanders guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Either they're red flagging both sides now to make sure that gun legislation is passed, or both sides are equally nuts.
I've said this before on the show. If you're listening, thank you, Kathy. Yes, guns. You can't do these things without a gun. Okay, but it's not hard to get a gun. Criminals get guns every day. There's criminals buying guns right now.
Right.
Okay, and there are 10 million guns in circulation in America right now? They say between like 10 and 22 million guns.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
And
chances are, if you want one, you can get one.
Yeah, and just think about it. There have been more cars, and if you really want to wipe people out, just wait for your favorite convention to exit onto the street and then gun up your power wagon.
Sure.
And you could take 30 or 40 out, no problem.
Well, that's exactly true. But what I believe more than anything else, it's a mental condition, and it's people suffering from media brainwashing. I'm going to go out there and sound like a kook when I say that, but
psychoactive drugs. None of those drugs were tested. They were tested, and the results were skewed. They were tested for suicide, but none of them were ever tested for homicidal ideation. And it seems that the SSRI, the neurouptake inhibitors, are rife with the potential for homicidal ideation and homicidal activities, because all these young males, and it's virtually 98% young white males that are involved with this, have been on psychiatric medications, are part of broken families, don't have regular fathers around.
Really?
They've got nothing to regulate them and nothing to show them how true men are supposed to act. And then they're allowed to act on their impulses and kill people, which is sad.
Yeah. And I certainly don't understand it. We're actually going to try Facebook for the third time tonight. We just lost the signal again. So it could be on the other end. I don't know. But welcome, everybody. And we're going to go live. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, we're back. Thanks for dialing in. And this is our third attempt, but we're being recorded on the YouTube, which is what we will distribute later on. And thank you for anybody that hung with us this long.
And hope your socks are dry.
Yeah,
well.
Exactly, man. Just tumbling around there, But ladies and gentlemen, we're, the last few weeks we were talking about the Federal Reserve and why your money is the way it is, and what just the total control that a small group of people actually have in manipulating the world, and they do it through money. They don't care who's in office. They own all those people in office. Those are actors. That's why Hollywood is so popular throughout the world, because it is a toy representation of the way the world is run. And if you want your agenda to move forward, you're going to have to pay favors. And then when you go to pay favors, you're going to be indebted. And when you find out who you're indebted to, it's going to make you sad that you ever tried what you tried. So, and constantly this happens day in, day out. It's happening right now. It's happening within 5 miles of here. Somebody is getting their dues called in. And as we look through all these information, the information that's given to us throughout history, and there's not one big book that says this is the conspiracy theorist guide to world history. It's not. Those are the regular. If you know what you're reading and you know what you're looking at and you know who the players are, you can see these movements happen all throughout history. And if you ignore them, shame on you. Your studying isn't strong enough. And the thing that a lot of people, believe me, it's a lot easier to ignore it. It's a lot easier to just keep plowing. And you know what? There's times that I'm guilty of that. I'm on the maze. I'm in the maze. I'm running the maze. I'm doing the maze. And I'm tired. But I also have taken enough time to slip through the hedges and look around what's outside the track. And it's hard. It's hard for you not to share. If you're, I've been in the communications thing all my life. I mean, I've always had jobs and positions in my life where I had to be very communicative. And I've been on this Tan Talk station for, 12 years, 15 years, a lot of years. Not consistently, but definitely sporadically. And I've definitely logged my hours here. So, but, and just trying to get decent ideas out there. And thank you for everybody. We got Boneyard Bob and Leroy left. Those are the only two guys left.
Hey, saints in their own right.
Yes, and very good. So, but folks, if you're watching on YouTube or listening on the radio, we thank you very much. But the thing that we continue to share is we're trying to lighten the load of what's being heaped upon you as you go throughout your day, and the information is trying to penetrate your head. It's rough. It's not.
Well, that's where it helps to be skeptical.
Yes.
I mean, if you start buying into all this stuff as truth, then it's going to depress you, and it is getting them to where they want you to be, and you're more easily manipulated, and you'll fall in line. What you need to do is be constantly skeptical, ask for proof, prove it.
Yep.
And the more times you ask that, the more times you'll see that how much BS is out there, and how little fact you get with what's supposed to be the truth. I think there was a quote from Lincoln. There's no thinner broth has been made and called soup. I think that's how the quote
goes. Journalism.
Well, yeah. It's like, where is the chicken in this chicken soup? I mean, I'm not finding it,
I'm looking, but I'm not finding.
That's right. You call this chicken soup?
Exactly. And, what term you don't hardly hear anymore? Yellow journalism, which used to mean, scantily represented facts. But yellow journalism,
at least it was journalism.
Yeah, but
it wasn't just flat propaganda.
Exactly. And you know what? Facebook and YouTube and all these, and then all the entities that we're playing in. Apparently, our voices aren't loud enough, but. And we're telling on the boss, we're talking behind the boss's back.
Yeah.
And there may come, and that's why we have that BitChute account. It's YouTube, or not YouTube. It's imho.love at BitChute. And they hold every show, and you can't get to it. It can't be censored off. It can't be deleted. It's a permanent file, as close as we have found.
Yeah, and we're also on imho.love at YouTube, and like us there, subscribe, and pass it on to your friends, because I can't do it anymore, at least for right now, because I'm still in Facebook jail.
Are you in Facebook jail again?
Yeah, I'm still
What'd you
in
do
Facebook
now?
jail. It's any number of things. They can only you can only guess.
Okay.
It's like they basically say, what you did.
Yeah.
Which we're not going to have to tell you. Well, what you
really?
did.
Oh, which one? Yeah, right. Exactly. At least you could, at least they would tell you, so maybe you could be more cautious. But that's the other thing too. I was having a conversation the other day over some cinnamon raisin toast that I could 86 the Facebook thing pretty. I mean, I like being in touch with my friends, and there's Lee Ving. That's a great name, Lee Ving. And Eric Smith, Eddie Yarb. Hi, Donnie, you're back. Thanks for hanging with us. And of course, Tony Bacchus is still here too. It's great being in touch with you all, and it's nice to be so handy. If I want to send you a message, I just hit 3 buttons, and here comes the message. It's an amazing thing. But I'll also tell you that this level of exposure, I mean, my phone number's online. Anybody in the world can get my phone number and give me a call. It's kind of ridiculous. I've never been that public of a person, for many years. And I'll tell you this, currently I have licenses, I have permits, I have, things that I own, and I'm identified with the state in many, many different ways. But there was a time in the late 80s, early 90s, I was about as vagabond as you could get. I had a New Jersey driver's license with no picture on it. Back then, they didn't have pictures. You could get them without pictures back then. And I had no credit cards. And I did all my business in cash, coming in and going out.
And you lived in a plywood house in Montana that was covered with just tar paper.
Well, you say it like it's bad.
Well, no, it's actually pretty good. I mean, Ted Kaczynski had a good thing going until he started sending bombs to people.
Yeah, well, I didn't send anybody any bombs, but I traveled on the road as a stand-up, and I lived with the cash out of my pocket, and had an incredible time. Literally went to sleep like a fat puppy every night, not worrying about a thing. And if you wanted to find me, you really had to look. There was no massive publication of where I am. And now if I play at, Uncle Bob's Fart Planet Club or somewhere, then you can find out, come see me and touch me and stand right next to me. I wouldn't even know.
Well, that's what happens when you have links to Google and Facebook. So,
Thanks, Kathy.
Well, I wanted to mention too, it occurred to me that, our CE5, our Human Initiated Contact Experience, HICE5, is a group public announcement. It befuddled me the first time that we actually had the Black Ops helicopter out there chasing one of our UFOs. And then the second time I mentioned it, and I forget who it was next to me. He goes, "What do you expect? You post this meetup and it's online for a month." So because these helicopters were getting there within 5 minutes of the time that the UFOs were appearing.
Wow.
So they're over the horizon someplace. Yeah. So, it's like, everything is, you got to be prepared to make everything you're doing public anyway.
Yeah.
You got nothing to hide. I mean, until they reinstitute the law that made contact a felony, you got nothing to hide, and you got nothing keeping you from making contact with the extraterrestrials, interdimensional. So those are out there who are part of this movement. Keep it up. It'll eventually become a political movement to change the world. So
well, and that's really what we can hope for, folks. That's what the imho.love show is about. Wanting you to know that there are people out there that are thinking like you. You look up to the beautiful clouds, especially if you live here in Florida. We have such incredible skies. The clouds here are just beautiful. The color hues of the sky are tremendous. And we get sunsets like nowhere else in the world on the west coast of Florida here. Just the most beautiful cascades of color and light.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mike Pence advised America should spend more time on their knees.
Well, sometimes the rents do.
Well, that's funny. I think Monica Lewinsky had something to say about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? But he's right.
Well, no. Why be on your knees? We go out in the field and we sit down and we meditate. Why be on your knees? Why? Because you need to do penance for being a bad person. We're all bad people. We just overcome it.
I get it,
but it's funny with Penn saying it on your knees. It's like, wait a minute, I saw those college pictures. That guy knew some places.
So and that prostate position.
That is prostrate.
Prostrate.
Either way, you're taking it up the butt.
Oh, dude, you're out of your mind. It's prostate. Prostrate is when you're like submissive, right? Okay. I asked the English major over here.
Way. It's like,
well, that's the same thing. How do they check your prostate in a prostrate position?
Exactly. And the moment you hear the glove snap, you're like, uh-oh. It's time for the Rigid Dalrymple series. Sorry.
But having that, but what he's talking about, actually, regardless of how you do it, it is what he's talking about is people do need to pray and meditate. And I believe what he's saying that, he's a conventional Christian guy, so he probably has his style of prayer.
Yeah, but to a Saudi, you're chopping a guy's head off.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't like that whole get on your knees thing. I think it's unnecessary.
That's true. And I agree with you. I mean, I have some of the most beautiful communions in the world, or in my world anyway, just walking down the road, just walking down the street, breathing that fresh air. Sometimes in the truck, I get it.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you, brother. Yeah, exactly. And you never know, man. You just never know when the spirit's going to hit you or move. And I tell you, folks, and it's this constant analysis of our life that makes us do this show. You would say, oh, you guys, you build up and then you give away. You build up and then you give away. And you know what? That, to me, that's the way the tide rolls in. It builds up and then it gives away. It builds up and then it gives away. Because what we're doing is, as we learn, we're also surrendering things that we once thought were precious and true, trying just that one step closer to a little more purity with a little less antique influence on it. Something more organic, something, easy that you can touch and feel. And so far it's working. I think the show's been moving along good, and there's a lot of people enjoying their lives and maybe just taking a little break with us and just, have the confidence, hey, there's other people out there just as confused as me.
Yeah, or who kind of think the same way and see the world with similar perspectives, and and want to surrender their ego in the world of 10,000 things to something better.
Yes, exactly. You're exactly right. Michael, what's the address if people want to get in touch with you or us on the? You kind of run that part of it, the HICE. What's the next step if you want to get in touch online?
Yeah, if you need to get in touch with me, it's Darby Ranch CE5 at gmail.com.
Darby Ranch CE5, and that's all one piece?
Yes.
At what?
At gmail.com.
Darby Ranch CE5 at gmail.com. Email Michael. He will send you the protocols of what our meetings are about. And it's all innocent and it's all based in love. And we just hope to commune with everybody that's interested. And we have really found some really, really beautiful, beautiful people that come out and meet with us.
Yeah, come on up and learn how to do it, and then start your own group, and then start making contact and get yourself into a spiritual space where you'll actually understand, enjoy life, and kind of realize what your purpose is here. And it's not to buy into the world of materialism. It's to make contact and get to the next level. You don't want to be stuck here for another lifetime, do you?
No.
And that's what it's all about. This is what spiritual evolution is.
The other night I was waxing poetic and thinking, when you're done with this meat bag that we live in, okay, when it's time for the spirit to endure, where do you think it goes, Michael? I mean, do you think it just goes and blends into its existing environment, or does it make this big spiritual journey away from here? Does it still have, that movie 21 Grams says that the soul has a degree of matter to it, and as we found out through science, almost everything has matter.
Yeah, actually, Scotty Mitchell, my buddy from the Biggest Loser show, he knew his father was going to die, and he was dying very pernicious. His body was rotting away. So what they ended up doing is Dad got him, said, okay, he said, can we weigh you to see if the soul, weighs anything? And his father said, yeah, sure. And they did. They weighed him. And at the time of his death, there was like an immediate 7-ounce decrease in his body weight.
Wow.
Otherwise inexplicable. Now, Scotty's got a sense of humor too, I mean, just beside the fact that he was a backup quarterback to Dan Marino for over half of his career.
Wow. Scotty who?
Scotty Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't know him because he was a backup.
He never played.
And then they sent him to Detroit where they hated him. He spent 5 years as the hated Mormon quarterback of the Detroit Tigers, So, but needless, he was a spiritual guy, great guy. And you still owe me $100, dude.
And he was in the game.
And but what he ended up doing is, after his father died, besides weighing his dad at the time of his death, his father, even though he had lived in Utah, had never been to the Grand Canyon. So they had him embalmed. They put him in a hearse, and he took him down to the Grand Canyon. And he spent like a couple of days with his mom.
Opened up the door and let him look.
Just kind of hanging out around the Grand Canyon in this hearse with his father in the casket in the back.
That rocks. That's cool.
Yeah, if you listen, I love you, brother.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the imho.love show, or viewing, however we are. We are here every Wednesday night at 7:30 on the Tan Talk Radio Network. A lot of times we're here on Facebook Live. We had some technical difficulties today, and I'm sorry for going into that. But always on tantalk1340.com, you can get a live stream off YouTube, which seems to be pretty flawless. And of course, Kathy McGuire, our producer, always reposts the show on imho.love, which I'm inviting all of you to like and share. And any of these shows, there's I think we're on number 50 now or something, because we've had a show every week for a year now. So we're right there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lou Angelwolf. Michael Murburg, you want to say goodbye and one last parting thing?
Yeah, goodbye. And if you're disabled, come see me at disabilityattorney.net so I can deduct this show from my
disabilityattorney.net, and you won't meet a nicer guy to handle your problems there. Y'all be blessed, be wonderful. We'll see you next Wednesday night at 7:30, and we'll have all this audio stuff tuned up. Ciao.